Citizens of YouTube, you are you and I am. Today we're going to talk about sidechain compression. You know the one. It's all like, yeah, that sidechain compression. There's a few ways to do sidechain compression in Reason, and I'll get into them with you. They're not as straightforward as one might think they should be in a DOS, so it's good that you clicked on this video. So let's get into it. Okay, so here we start. Here I have a track that I'm working on, and it's going to need some sidechain compression, so let's get after it. Okay. Let me play it for you. Okay, you get the idea. So the first thing I want to sidechain is this top loop too. This. If I click on this and press P on my keyboard, it'll create loop points. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. It'll create in and out loop points, left and right loop points, and then it'll also press play. So just hit P and it does both of those things. If I press P over here, jumps over there. If I'm stopped and I go over here and I press P on my keyboard, jumps over there and plays. Okay. So we want to sidechain this to the kick. So first we need to find the kick signal. Okay, here it is. And something I like to do, you don't want your kick to possibly double signal the sidechain, double signal the compressor. Sometimes kicks are a little flubby, like flup, and they can like double hit the compressor, or they can hit the compressor too long, or you do want more control over the decay or the release. That's the word of your sidechain compression. So I usually try to filter the kick first to just get the actual attack. So let's do that. Let's grab what do I want? I'll grab the Simplon. There. There. So that's it. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to actually, so right now it's in the signal chain as an insert, but that was just so I could hear it. Now I'm going to take it out of the signal chain. And I'm going to reach for my handy dandy Spider Audio merger splitter. Chapow. And I'm going to just use the parallel out of the kick because it's just a clean signal out and it leaves my insert effects open. So the parallel out goes into the audio in. Thought I heard something back there of the of the Simplon. So now this is kick affected by Simplon, kick affected by Simplon going out to be split for sidechain action. And then you can make copies of these. You can set them up right now while you're here. Hold Alt, sidechain 1. I'll just copy this word, make this sidechain 2. Boom. And then I just usually take the last. Actually, what I usually do is I'll just set this up ahead of time like this. I'll just show you my usual workflow. I'll just do these because I sidechain a lot of things. So then you do this. Sidechain 3. Oops. Sidechain 4. And then I'll just dedicate one sidechain to feeding the others. Bam, 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 kind of like that. And then now we can use any one of these split signals as the input for the sidechain input for the compressor on that channel. Wow, that was a very convoluted way of saying that. Let's just do it instead. Okay, so here's top loop 2. Let's make a compressor. Now that's all wired up. Now my favorite way to do it is actually to go from the compressor to the sidechain because I know that they're on the kick channel. So if I just find it, maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Kick, audio track, sidechain 1 should have one empty. Yep. You can tell which ones are plugged in because they have asterisks next to them. So this one's open. Bam. It wired itself. If you follow this wire here, I'll press K to kind of clear up the wire clutter. Okay. If you follow this cable, it goes down to the sidechain output. Boom. So now let's dial in some settings. Let's make it, oops. Usually on a sidechain situation, you want the attack to be really fast. I usually just slam it, but you could, play with it. But I usually slam it, and then I play with the release for how long it holds on. Let's go exaggerate. Let's go extreme with it. See, with the short release, you barely notice the sidechain because it's really quick. It's like tap, 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 like right on top of the, just out of the way for the transient. But if you have a thicker bass sound, something with a lot more presence, and you really want everything to get out of the way for a little bit longer, then you can increase the release. Now it pumps a lot more because it's fading in after the hits. So you really got to now hear it against your kick. So let's go get that kick. That sounds good to me. See how it's all over it when I bypass? I'm bypassed. I'm here. Now in. Obviously way too much because we're going extreme so you can hear it. Let's back off. We're getting a little more realistic here. So the next way I want to show you is actually using the compressor that's built into the SSL mixing board. The method is very similar, but let me show you. I have this section here. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not, but here it is. So it's this lead here that I want to sidechain. And obviously there's a dynamic section built in to the SSL mixing board. It looks like I'm using it, but I'm not using it for sidechain. But I'll reset it to its default settings and turn it off. And then I'll go to the rack here on this lead. It's probably going to be a little quieter now. So we go to the channel here, the lead, and it has a sidechain input right here on the channel, built right in. Model just the same as it was on the SSL mixing board. And you can do the same thing. You right click here, go to where my kick is, kick, sidechain. Looks like all the merge or the split are full. Wait, am I on the wrong side? Oh, I was on the wrong one. So you can do the same thing here. You can click here, right click here, go to your kick, find an open split channel. Boom, looks like sidechain 2 is wide open. That routes it up. Bam. Hit tab to flip over. Click on the mixer button here. Oh, there it is. Make that full screen. Click on the dynamic section. There's a bug I've noticed where sometimes there should be a picture, like kind of a macro view of the whole setup here. I mean, obviously, if you're a reason user, you know. But for some reason, mine doesn't show up all the time. And the same with the one in the rack. This one. I don't know what that is. But anyway, it's not that big of a deal. So now we're going to use the SSL's compressor to dial in some sidechain, some pumping. It's going to pump. Oh, you're going to definitely want to turn that compressor on. Yikes. All right, let's reset these settings. You can get crazy if you want. Press that peak button if you want to get real crazy. So this before, after. Strange how much energy it actually adds. I mean, in this case, there's no smearing. The lead is not in the way of the bass or of the kick in a frequency kind of way, but just getting it out of the way in an amplitude kind of way and having it bounce back. They're talking to each other now. It's a really powerful effect. And I have one more way to implement it for you. Okay, so the third and final way I would do sidechain compression is actually with automation, with volume automation. Let's not forget that compression is just volume modulation. That's all it is. It's just automatic volume modulation based on set parameters. But if you were to take a compressor and say, take it and run a signal through it and then draw a line of the attenuation, a graphical line, and then put that into your DAW as volume automation, you would have the same effect. It's the same thing. It's just volume automation. Now, of course, there's more to it because compressors add character based on the way that they achieve their volume automation, based on how the math works, but that's a different subject. So, in order to get this done, I would actually normally reach for this little utility, this little effect that's free by Synology. It's called the Free G. It's just a gain plugin. That's all it does. So there's its interface. I'm going to automate this fader. So you just click automate and click the fader. Bam. So now it's in here. I'm going to just do a little tidying up. So there's a couple of reasons to do this. First reason is you can draw the automation based on your visual view of the kick drum. Because I have the kick drum here. My kick drum's here, bounce down to audio. So I can use that as a visual reference for how I want my sidechain to look. That's one. The second reason, and I'm not really implementing that today, well, kind of, is that automation, unlike compression, can be pre-active instead of being reactive. That is, you can write the automation ahead in time if you choose to. So you could actually, the compressor is always going to be late. It's always going to be late to the game because it always has to get called to the party. So it's always going to take time to show up. Now, they've gotten good. It can be less than 0.1 milliseconds, but that's not the same thing as on time or early. So that's something you can do if you draw it yourself. Something to think about. So let's put snap on. So I'm literally just going to grab this. I really like how cleverly Reason's automation clips are set up. It's this little thing right here that I like. You can set the default position. So here. So obviously the default position for this fader is 0, 50%. So it's nice that this line right here, you can see it moving. You can see it moving in the background here. This line tells you where it will be if there is no automation present. If you don't have an automation clip there, then be at 77%. If there's no automation clip there, then be at 38%. You get it? So obviously in this case, 50 is neutral. So that's where we want it to be. That's unique to Reason, the way that works. Okay. So in this case, we have our kick. Let's turn snap back on. Well, let's go down to a really small value. So it's going to go down the volume. Something's going to happen here. There's going to be an event here for sure. I like too that you can just come up here, type 50, make sure you're dialed and in the right spot like that. And then I think the last event, I'll turn snap off, will happen maybe here. Maybe we'll be fully released by here. We'll put that at 50. And then it's literally going to be something like this. But not all the way down to the ground. Something like that, with maybe a little curve to it. Let's see what that sounds like. Let's get this guy singled out. Okay, so far that was just one. It sounded pretty decent. So let's, instead of drawing that again, the way I do that in this program would be to instead go to the next quarter note. Quarter note. That was ridiculous. And just duplicate. Oops. Let's just see what this sounds like. Probably could have done that in a faster, more efficient way, but I don't care. Oh, I didn't even need to go that far. That's funny. The sample ends around here somewhere. But anyway. And it's pumping. So we can actually get rid of these. Now, this actually brings up another reason why I would actually draw it in. Every once in a while, you come across this, especially on sweeps. Wherein, let me unsolo everything. So on the first hit, on the one beat, on the down beat, let me zoom in here. The compressor is always running with the kick, right? But in this case, I don't want this scoop here. I don't want the audio to drop, or the amplitude to lower on the first hit. I want it to be more like a crash where it stays present. So I can just get rid of that, which is amazing. So now the side chaining doesn't even kick in until beat 2. That's what I'm talking about. So it keeps its power when it needs it at the turnaround, at the drop, and then starts ducking away. So there you have it in all of its side chainy goodness. I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I do one of these a week. Yeah, I really appreciate you. What else? Oh, follow me on all my socials. They're in the description down there as well. There's a blog post accompanying this, although it'll probably be a short one, but I have other blog posts on my blog, so just check out my blog. That was way too much. Yeah, ciao.